The reason I wanted to do this is because I feel like there are people who want to get started, not just with learning a skill that they can sell to clients anywhere in the world, but like people who want to start selling something online, maybe their own products, right? Or maybe they have a coaching service. Maybe there's something they are really good at, but they don't know how to sell it. So this webinar or this meeting, right, is my way of providing actionable guidance, right? From the very first steps you need to take all the way down to where you start taking action. That's where you start implementing what you've learned, right? I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. At the same time, I'll try not to rush through it so that everything I'm saying can be as clear as possible and as useful as possible to you. Now, when it comes to, you know, before I even say anything else, there's a great misconception, right, about making money online. And that misconception is, okay, so all of these people are making $10,000 a month. Some of them are doing $20,000 a month. Some of them are making $100,000 a month. Some are making $500,000 a year. Some are doing millions of dollars. And you feel like you can just come in, right? Because you've seen testimonials. For example, if you go to my website, andymukolo.com, you're going to see like loads and loads of testimonials there. Most of these people like started getting their testimonials like after a couple of weeks, some of them after a couple of months, some of them after their first year. Now, people go through my homepage, they see testimonials, and those testimonials are like a fraction of what I have. Sometimes I get so many emails, so many DMs, like from people who are saying, oh, I tried this thing, it worked, I'm getting results now, thank you. I forget to update them on my page. But the point is, all of these people, they didn't get results overnight. And while some of them came in with the right mindset, a lot of them had to unlearn their, like what they knew already. What I mean is, a lot of people come in with the mindset of, I can get rich right away. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get rich in the shortest amount of time. But the problem is when your primary goal is to get rich. This sort of mindset sets you up for failure. The reason is because you're so focused on making those millions and you're not even paying attention to the basics, the fundamentals. And some of those fundamentals include at least understanding this thing that you're trying to get into, whether it's copywriting, Facebook ads, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's trading currencies, whether it's affiliate marketing. You need to take time, quality time, spend a lot of time on a daily basis, trying to understand how this thing works on the very basic level, in layman's language. You can't just come in and after like 30 days, you're complaining, oh, I've not made any money. I've not gotten any clients. Come on. You spend, most of you here who have gone through school, you spend like 4 or 5 years in school, writing exams, studying hard. Some of you here probably have a first class, right? And I know firsthand how much sacrifices go into getting a first class degree, especially in Nigeria, where I was born and raised. You practically cut off your entire social life, at least for a lot of people I know who have a first class. You deny yourself a lot of things, a lot of pleasures, right? You delay gratification. You do all of this so that you can have that first class degree at the end of the day. And you're making all of those sacrifices because you're so sure that getting a first class degree is going to set you up for a financially successful future. But the sad reality, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world now, is you can have an amazing, amazing degree and still struggle to make a lot of money for yourself. When I say a lot of money, I'm not talking about making money that you're just trying to get by, you're just trying to manage. Now, let's flip the coin. Imagine pouring the same level of dedication, making the same sacrifices, putting in the same hard work, the same commitment into learning a high income skill like copywriting or any other high income skill, or into starting your own online business, or into selling your own product, or into promoting other people's products. Imagine putting in that level of dedication. You're most likely going to, the chances of you succeeding, right, eventually, and making millions for yourself, the chances, if you dedicate the same amount of energy that a lot of people put into getting a first class, into succeeding with your online business or into becoming the best at what you do, you're definitely going to succeed. Definitely. As long as you're taking action, you're asking the right questions, you're getting the right guidance and support. The same way people do when they graduate with first class or when they get good grades in school. Now, the question is, how many people come in with this kind of mindset? And the thing is, this make money online thing is not something that you say, oh, I want to do it I want to just do it as a hobby. Not if you want to make a lot of money with it. Not if you really want to succeed at it. No. If your primary goal is to just come in and get rich and then you go away, you're going to struggle. You're setting yourself up for failure. Right? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, what's your why? Why do you want to make money online? Or why do you even want to learn this thing called copywriting or any other high income skill you're interested in learning? This online business, why are you starting it? The reason I'm asking this question is, if you don't have a strong why, you're going to give up along the line. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. You're going to give up eventually if you don't have a strong why. Let me give you an example. Most people who go on to become millionaires, right? They do so because they have a strong why. And mostly that strong why is driven by pain. Let me explain. Now, you know that, for example, in Nigeria, most countries that are developing, even most developed countries, right? Anywhere in the world, this applies anywhere in the world. Maybe you were born into a low-income family or a middle-class family, and growing up, there was a lot of money problems in the house. You probably seen or saw somebody insult your parents, or somebody insulted you, looked down on you because you didn't come from a rich family. And that pain that you feel in that moment, you just tell yourself that I'm going to prove this person wrong. I'm going to go on and make a lot of money for myself. That could be your why. And because it is driven by pain, it is a very strong why. Another reason is, maybe you asked a relative for financial help and they said no to your face and even mocked you. Or maybe, like me, you were in school and you were not the brightest person in your class, and your lecturer literally humiliated you in front of your fellow students. And that really got to you. Like, you know how lecturers can make you feel like you're worthless if you're not getting straight A's? Like you're going to fail in life if you're not getting straight A's. That's how I felt when I was in school. I felt like if I didn't graduate with maybe a second class upper degree, I was going to be a failure in life. And when I graduated, I had a second class lower. And that got me depressed. And I just remember feeling like, man, like this life, there's nothing else in it. You didn't graduate with a 2 on a first class. You're going to fail in life. Because that was what was beating into my head from childhood. And that's the case for a lot of people. So one of my whys was, in fact, my primary why was after I lost my banking job. Like I was literally laid off and told that my services were no longer required. If you've been following me for a while, you're probably familiar with this story, right? And I remember that day, I was like, so I've gone through 5 years of school. I've served my country for 1 year, and now I get this job. And just when I just when I'm beginning to think that I have a career in banking, that I'm going to succeed, I'm going to rise through the ranks and succeed as a banker, then I'm thrown out of the industry. No warning, no queries. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just how banking is. When they begin to feel like they don't need you anymore, like, okay, you're not meeting the targets and all that, they lay you off. And there's millions of people from where they took you from initially. So they always have people to fill up those slots. So I remember like that day, I just felt like, so somebody woke up and just decided my fate like that. And that was when I made the decision that, look, even if it means being broke for the next 2 years, I don't mind. I'm going to find a way to make my own money. And that was the beginning of copywriting for me. So that was my why. And it's a very strong why. Another one is when my dad was ill, right? He was retired, right? And he had retired already. Even though we could get by financially, there were times when we couldn't do certain things because the money wasn't readily available. And my dad had a partial stroke at the time. So there's this thing we say in Nigeria, like stroke is a big man's sickness, like it's a rich man's sickness. What it means is if you're down with stroke, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on a weekly basis. You're going to have to spend loads and loads of money to take care of yourself. And God help you if you don't have the financial capacity to do it. You're probably just going to die because of lack of funds. Let's not even go down the road of this, like the unexpected emergencies. Your blood sugar could just drop all of a sudden and you rush into like a hospital, the emergency section, and you have to pay money for all of these things. Sometimes you're in the hospital for weeks, months. You have to pay money for all of these things. So I remember then I was like, nah, no, like somebody has to step up and do something, right? And I also remember never wanting to be in that position where we needed money for something and it wasn't readily available. So that was an additional why for me. And remember, all of these whys are driven by pain, like deep emotional pain. So you have to ask yourself, what is your why? You can't just come in and say you want to make, yes, I know, like the end goal is to make money, but you have to have a strong why. What's that thing driving you to get on this journey of making your own money, to get on the path of financial freedom? What's driving you? That thing, that your strong why, is what will keep you going when after 8 months you've not made any money. That your strong why is what will keep you going. So if you don't have a strong why, you're not going to go very far. You're not going to go very far. After maybe like your first 2 weeks, you're just going to drop all of, I'm not making any money. So what's the point? Now, we begin. The topic, right, primarily is how to sell. How do you take what you know and sell it very well? Or how do you learn how to sell so that you can either use it to sell your own products or work with business owners to help them get more customers, to help them grow their businesses, increase sales, increase revenue, hit new revenue targets and all that. How do you get started? What is the most important thing if you really want to make progress and succeed in this thing of ours? Step one, I'll show you what matters first, and then we'll proceed to the next thing, right? Let me share my screen. This is the point where I share my screen. Yes. Okay. All right. So if you can see my screen, you'll see that it says stage one, right? Now, stage one is uninformed optimism. Now, this stage one applies to anything in life. Whether you're trying to learn copywriting, whether you're trying to ask a woman out, whether you're trying to start your own business, whether you're trying to venture into something like maybe invest or build something else that would take time normally. And anything worth achieving takes time, really, right? Nothing worth having happens overnight. Stage one is the stage of uninformed optimism. I'll give you an example. So people like come on my timeline and they see pictures of me, maybe at the beach or with my friends hanging out, and they're like, wow, this thing is so exciting. Like, there's so much money in this business. I think I can just get started and do it and make a lot of money for myself. I can do it. I can really do it, right? You've not tested the waters. You're just seeing it from afar. And you're excited. You're optimistic, right? Which is fine, really, because it helps to be excited about anything you want to do. But don't be blindly excited. There's something called blind excitement. And that's the same thing as uninformed optimism. You're optimistic about it, but you're not well informed about how this thing really works. Right? So that's why 99% of people who say they want to learn copywriting or who say they want to learn how to sell online or how to make money online, they fall in this category, stage one, uninformed optimism. Right? Now, this stage is where a lot of people maybe sign up for a course or take on a training or get into a mentorship program because they believe that getting into these programs will help them achieve their goal of making a lot of money. Right? Uninformed optimism. Now, stage two is when you sign up for this course, right? And the next thing is you start applying what you've learned, or you start studying what you paid for. And after you've understood the basics, you try to implement something. That's when we get to stage two. That's the stage of informed pessimism, right? So let's say you sign up for a copywriting course, right? That promises to teach you how to become a well-paid copywriter. And maybe on the sales page where you signed up, your instructor told you that, look, the process is simple, right? I'll just show you a simple 3-step formula that you can apply. And in less than 30 days, you've made your first $10,000. You're excited, which is that uninformed optimism I was talking about. You're super, super excited, right? It's just 3 steps, 3 simple steps. And in less than 30 days, I have $10,000, my first $10,000, even if I don't have any experience. And of course, when you sign up for this program, you get into it and you go through it, okay. And then, of course, like most programs online, you start to see that, well, this thing is not as simple as I thought it was when I was reading the sales page. Now, reality is beginning to kick in. Your excitement is beginning to drop. You're no longer as optimistic as you were when you started. Now, you've not implemented anything. And then, of course, with copywriting, the next thing you try to do is, okay, I've finished the program. Now I want to start getting clients. So let's say you finish it. So because maybe on that sales page, you were promised you'll get your first client in less than 30 days, you now rush through the program in less than 7 days. So that you have like, let's say 23 days, right, to pitch and make your first $10,000 before the end of 30 days. And after day 7, you go to, let's say you go to the section that has all of those pitching templates, cold emailing templates, right? And you start pitching. First week, nothing. Second week, nothing. Third week, nothing. That's 30 days, and you've not made $1. Now, your optimism, right, was here before when you started. The more you go through the program, the more you try to implement something, the lower your optimism and the higher your pessimism. Now you are informed. It is not easy. Now you are aware. And it's at this point that when you see people online saying, you make your first $10,000 in less than 30 days, you're like, you all should fuck off. Because now you've had a taste of this thing and it is bitter. And nobody told you that it was bitter. Right? Now, this is the stage of informed pessimism. Now, at this point, at least 99% of the people who get started with copywriting or with any other thing, they become frustrated. And that frustration very often leads to exit, which brings me to the next stage. That's stage 3. The 99% exit point. So after that stage of informed pessimism, you're like, if this thing is not as simple as they said it was, what's the point? It's not simple. Okay, fine, they lied to me. But now I know it's not simple. And I don't want to spend the next 5, 10, 20 years of my life doing this thing. I don't want stress. So 99% of the people who come into anything, this is stage 3. This is where they live. This is where they stop going through the materials. This is where they stop sending out emails to prospective clients. This is where they stop practicing. This is where they stop implementing. They abandon the entire thing at this point. We can call it the cart abandonment stage, right? They abandon it here, stage 3. Now, 99% leave, but there's the tiny 1% that stay back. That 1% are those who eventually go on to succeed. And trust me, at this point, this stage 3, the frustration is so bad, it's so intense, that it will take a lot of willpower and determination to progress from this point. To say, okay, fine, now I know that it is not simple, but nothing worth having comes easy. So I'm going to stay back. I'm going to work this thing out. I'm going to keep asking questions. I'm going to keep implementing until I get results. I don't mind. I know that eventually, like others who have come before me, if I stay on this thing, if I keep working at it, if I keep asking questions, if I keep implementing, I'm going to get results. Maybe not as soon as I expect, but I know eventually I'm going to get results and I'm going to succeed and I'm going to become one of the best, or if not the best, at this thing that I do. 1%. A tiny 1%. Now, because that 1% stay back and persist and keep working hard, eventually the universe or God or those in their community who see them working hard, who see that this person is really working hard, this person is consistent. They've been here the last 90 days. They've been here the last 6 months. They've been here the last 12 months, trying to work this thing out, implementing, never doubting that it's not for them. They continue believing that this thing will work out for me. I know it will work out, but I just need to keep implementing and showing up every day or on more days than not. Eventually, you get your breakthrough. If you are in that 1%, eventually you get your breakthrough. Either you land your first client who will pay you maybe $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, or even $10,000. And once you get that your first breakthrough, you are now informed. Now you know. You've been hearing testimonies, you've been seeing testimonials. Oh, okay, so all those people on Andy's page saying, thank you, this thing works for me. So they were not lying. So this thing was what they were telling the truth. Now you have earned the right to preach. This thing works. I know it works because I've tried it. I've persisted, I've put in the work, and I've seen the results myself. Informed optimism. Now, this stage 4 is by no means the stage of mastery. No. It doesn't mean you stop learning. No. This is the stage where you realize that, oh, okay. So I've tried these 99 other things that didn't work, but this one thing worked, right? Okay. I'm going to try to keep improving on this one thing that has worked for me. Maybe it's a pitching template that you used, and that one brought in a client that is now paying maybe like $5,000, $10,000 or more to work with them on the project every month. You're not like, okay, this template worked. Okay, fine. I'm going to take this thing and use it as my guiding template going forward when I want to pitch clients. Now you can tell what works from what doesn't work. That's the stage of informed optimism. And that's stage 4. And only a tiny 1% get into this stage. Are you beginning to see that from when you get started, right, all the way to when you see results, there is a gap? The road is narrow. You have to understand that before you even decide to get into anything. How willing are you to persist when people are mocking you? Oh, I thought you said copywriting was the most wonderful money-making skill. Have you bought it now? People will mock you, like whether you accept it or not. People are going to mock you. And it takes a lot of thick skin to get through all of that. Ah, the copywriter, how much have you made this month? And people are going to tell you when you're not getting clients, I told you. Leave these people telling you to learn copywriting, leave them alone. Go and get a job. Look at your life now. You're going to have people telling you stuff like that. I know, because it happened to me. But I had seen something, and I had a strong why. What did I see? I saw that this thing was possible for me. I saw that other people were getting results, and that if I persisted long enough, I was going to get results. And remember what I said, that I decided in my head that even if it meant being broke for 2 years, I didn't mind. And yes, I was broke for a while. Like, it took me 8 months to get my first client. It was so bad, I couldn't buy data. You know, like I couldn't renew my data subscription. So I had to talk to my sister. And she would always come through. That's why, like, today when she asks me for anything, I don't think about it twice. But the point is, those 8 months were, and during that period, my dad, I was basically taking care of my dad because he was recovering from stroke at the time. And if anybody here knows what stroke is, if you've heard about it, if you've read a story about it, you probably know how bad it can be. Not just for the person recovering, but for you, the caregiver. And I was my dad's caregiver for like 3 years. So mentally, I was fucked. But something in me kept saying, persist, right? And I don't know, maybe this was part of the reason I didn't give up, but I was always reading Gary Halbert. And you know, there's no way you read Gary Halbert and you won't believe that this thing will work for you. So Gary Halbert, like, practically influenced me into copywriting. So do you see that the road is not easy? It is not as wide as you think it is. It is not as smooth as you think it is. It is hard. Let me not use the word challenging. It is hard. Even when you have the best mentors, you will not get results overnight. That's important. It is important to understand that. And that's why yesterday or day before yesterday, I was saying on Twitter that if you're not ready, if you can't, before you get into copywriting, ask yourself, can I spend the next 5, 10, 20 years of my life doing this thing? If the answer is no, just wash your hands and go do something else. I'm pretty sure that you will succeed elsewhere. But not with this thing called copywriting or making money online. Right? If we're clear with that, I'll proceed to the next thing. Now, the next question is, okay, fine, Andy, I get it. This stuff is not easy, right? But I still want to, I want to do this. I've seen the results, I'm ready. I don't mind 5 years, 10 years, I'm ready. Because I know that truly, this is from testimonials I've seen people doing $100,000 a month, $50,000 days, $1 million a year. I've seen it. And I believe these testimonials. And I'm ready. I want the same thing for myself. How do I get started the right way? And that brings us to the next thing. How to learn and master copywriting the right way. There are many ways to learn something, right? But there's usually one way to learn it the right way. And that one way is not easy. Right? So what I'm going to do is show you how you can do it. Step one, right? You want to learn copywriting. You want to make it that skill that you're very good at. You're very good at, so that you can leverage it, use it to make money for yourself, use it to work with business owners so they can pay you good money, right? And use it as a tool to achieve your goals in life. Meaning, use it as a tool to generate as much money as you need to live the kind of life you want to live. For me, copywriting is about two things: freedom and your earning capacity. I'm saying this with all authority because I've had a taste of this thing and I've seen the results, not just for myself, but for other people who have learned this thing from me, from my clients and my partners. Copywriting is the number one high income skill. No other skill comes close. Let me explain. Copywriting is basically you knowing how to sell with words. And in the case of writing, with written words. And when you're learning copywriting, you are not just learning how to write. Writing, like I always say, is 10% of the equation, 10%. The other 90% is human psychology, understanding how human beings think and behave, what moves people to act, what are the emotional triggers. If I want to get a pregnant woman to buy into a fertility program, what can I say to make her say yes to my offer and pay money to be part of this thing? Now, once you have that knowledge, whether you're writing or saying it verbally, you're still doing copy. You're still getting somebody to buy something. And that's what copywriting is about. And even if you take away the internet today, let's go back to the olden days when there was no internet, when it was just telephones and mails and using the post office to send letters. Copywriting is still very valuable and you can still make a lot of money with it. Either selling your own products or working with big businesses who want to reach millions of people all over the world. You write letters, persuasive letters that influence people into buying into a company's vision and trying out a product they're selling. So take away the internet, take away social media. Copywriting is like the only skill, the only high income skill that remains very valuable. Copywriting is like the only skill that if you lost everything, all of your money, your house got burned, you lost your car, you lost everything. Copywriting is that skill that you can use to build your way back up. Because The most money on earth is made through selling something. So even if you're not selling something for yourself, you can help business owners. You can get into business partnerships. Okay, you have this great product, but you don't know how to sell it. All right, fine, no problem. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you sell this product. I'll create a system, right, that will sell this product on a profitable basis. And in exchange, you're going to give me 20% of the revenue every month. You can take this skill and go to any city in the world. You can walk into any company in the world and say, look, I've got this skill. I want to work with you. This is the deal. This is the offer. This is what we're going to do together. And this is what you give me in return. Of course, not everybody is going to say yes. But there are hundreds and hundreds of companies out there that will say yes to you. Right? Now, the next thing. If you want to learn anything, right, there are certain books you need to get your hands on. Those books are books that I refer to as the right books. Right books because these books were written by legends, people considered by almost everybody in that industry as legends, the very best. And when it comes to copywriting, I have a list of 5 books, 5 important books that I believe are must-read books. If you're serious about learning copywriting, you need to get your hands on these books. Some of them are in free domain, right? What I mean is you can easily get them online with a simple Google search, right? Some of them you have to buy them. You won't find the free versions online. You have to take out money and buy them, right? But even if you don't have the money to buy those ones that are paid, there are still some of them that you can get online. Those ones that are in free domain, right? Now, the first book, I'll start with The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert. This one is free online. It is on his website, right? And I'm saying the Boron Letters. Why am I saying start with the Boron Letters? It's simple. It was written by somebody considered at the time to be the world's greatest copywriter. And he didn't write it originally to maybe his newsletter subscribers. No. He was in prison and he was writing these letters to his most favorite son, Bond Halbert. By the way, a couple of weeks ago, I was in a clubhouse meeting with Bond, David Deutsch, Paris Lampopoulos, and it was just amazing, right? It was just amazing, like being in the same room with these guys and hearing them talk. But that's by the way. Now, why is it important that you read something that was written by the world's greatest copywriter to his most favorite son? The reason is simple. When you want to teach your most favorite child something, a child that you love with all your heart, you're not going to hold back. You're going to go all in and you're going to try to simplify it. Now, at the time, Bond was like 15 years of age. He was going to 16. So he was a teenager. Why is that important? Because if you're writing something to a teenager, somebody whose thought process is still developing, you need to simplify your message. You need to break it down in layman's terms so that they understand this thing in ABC language. And that's what Gary Halbert did. Now, there is nobody, dead or alive, who teaches copywriting as well as Gary Halbert. None, zero, in my opinion at least. And I think there are thousands of people out there who agree with me. It's how Gary Halbert simplifies this thing and makes you fall in love with the art. If you've gone through school, think about it. Who was your favorite lecturer? The one that made you laugh, right? The one that simplified it very well. The one that made you believe that, look, you can really do this thing. Not the ones wearing straight faces and threatening you that you're going to fail your exams, or using big grammar and complicating everything and giving you a headache every time you attend their lectures. So that's why Gary Halbert comes first. He is unmatched. Nobody touches his back when it comes to teaching copywriting. None. And the reason some of you here love copywriting today is because you stumbled on my emails and you're like, damn, I like how he talks about this thing. I like how he breaks it down. I like how he simplifies it. And that's why you continue to read my emails. I know I can be annoying sometimes. But then, like you don't mind, right? You don't mind because you're like, okay, fine, you can be an asshole, but sometimes like you're not that asshole that I don't like reading from, right? So Gary Halbert, the Brown letters. Now, how do you find the Brown letters? It's like really simple. Go to his website, right? Let me do it so that like everybody sees. Okay, so this is the GaryHalbertLetter.com. Okay, so let me make this very easy for you because, so this is how it works, right? You go to the GaryHalbertLetter.com first, right? Now, this is what you see when you get there, right? Now you scroll down. I'm not going to read out what he's written here. You can go read it later. It's going to make you laugh. But you scroll down, right? And you come here. Click here to view our newsletter archive. So you click on it. And it brings you to this place. That's that first page we came to. Now, what you do is you scroll down. You're going to see a bunch of letters. Loads and loads of letters, right? Don't read those ones. Those are not the letters you're looking for. What you're looking for first is the Boron letters. And there are 25 chapters of the Boron letters, meaning there are 25 letters, right? So let me show you. Scroll down, right? Just go down, 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 and there you have it. You see, the Boron letters, chapter 25, 24. So if you keep going down, you see that they are arranged in order, right? So this is the Boron letters, chapter 1. So you come here and you start reading. Chapter 1, you read and reread. Read at least 3 times. And every time you read, take notes. Every time you read, you learn something new. Get a notebook or a notepad. Take notes. Very important. Don't rush through it. In fact, the first time you read it casually. Don't try to understand anything. Just read it for fun. Right? And then the second time, okay, now you start paying attention. Take notes, right? Now, after that, after the Boron letters, right? You take a break, maybe one day, right? Maybe one day, maybe a couple of hours, just get some sleep, rest, right? Don't overthink anything, no pressure. You've read the Boron letters at least maybe 3 times, right? And you may not finish it in one day. If you're as crazy as I am, you may finish all 25 letters in one day. Because at the time I was reading, when I started copywriting, I was reading the Boron letters like all 25 chapters at some point, all 25 chapters every day. I was that obsessed. If you are that obsessed, no problem. But if after reading it the first time, you're like, okay, I could only do 5 chapters in one day, no problem, that's fine. Go at your own pace. But at the same time, don't be so relaxed to think that you have all year or all the time in the world, because you don't. Right? Now, when you're done with the Boron letters, set it aside. There's a reason. Set it aside. Don't try to do anything yet. Now, stage 2, the next book, right, is the Robert Collier letter book. This one is in free domain too. When I say it's in free domain, it means it is available online for free. Now, if you want to download this book, what you do is very simple, right? Open a new tab and type the Robert, the Robert Collier, the Robert Collier letter book, PDF. Can you see that, right? I'm going to highlight it, PDF, and then you open it. Now, you're going to see like, this is the one you should come to. This one has PDF in bracket. Just once you click it, it's going to download, right? If it doesn't download, just scroll down, you see other ones. Just try until you get the one that downloads, right? Now, do what you did with the Boron letters with the Robert Collier letter book. The same thing. Now, this one has a lot of, it was written by Robert Collier, a guy considered one of the greatest copywriters of all time. He was like, what he was doing with this book was, he was breaking down the principles of great copywriting. And he was, at each point, he will show you letters he wrote. He will explain why those letters worked, the principle behind them, his thought process, how he started, how he held the reader's attention, how he closed. He will tell you, okay, this letter worked. The ones that didn't work, he will even show you. That's how honest he was. He will tell you, oh, this letter didn't bring in money, and here's why. Right? So do the same thing with the Robert Collier letter book. Read it 3 times, right? Take notes. And when you're done reading it the 3rd time, the next one is Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. The same thing, right? The same thing. These books are considered by almost every great copywriter I know as must-read books. So you have to read them. These books were written like several, like tens and hundreds of years ago. Like I think maybe by 2025, the Robert Collier letter book or Scientific Advertising would be as old as like 100 years. Yet, what Claude Hopkins was saying in this book was like, it's still as valuable as it was back then when he wrote it today. Right? The next one is How to Write a Good Advertisement by Vic Schwab. Right? So the same thing. I think this one should be available in free domain. I'm not sure, but you can try it. How to Write a Good Advertisement PDF. Right? Just try it. You'll find it. If it's available in free domain, you'll find it. Right? Now, the next book is Tested Advertising Methods by John Caples. Tested Advertising Methods by John Caples. Same thing, read it at least 3 times, right? Now, when you're done, do the same thing. Each time you try to read it new, like a 2nd time or a 3rd time, take notes. Always take notes. Like practically write something down. And always jot down the pages, the page numbers, right? The page numbers. And here's what I'll advise you to do. For these books, if you can't get the physical copies, get some money. Go to a business center, print them out. Each one, print them if you have the money, and it's not going to cost a lot of money. Go to a business center. If you find them in free domain, go to a business center, print them out, bind them, whether in hardcover or with a soft cover, bind them so that you have them physical, like in physical copies. And when you're reading them, you can now get a book, a highlighting pen, right? And highlight those important lessons you're seeing. So that when you're reading it again, you're now seeing those important lessons the 2nd time, and it is now going deeper into your subconscious mind. Because you need to imbibe these principles, not just read them, not just cram them bookishly. No. You need to imbibe them. These things have to become part and parcel of you. They have to flow in every fiber of your being. Because you don't just want to learn this thing. Yes, you can make a lot of money by learning the basics, but you want to also master this thing. Because you're going to make a whole lot more money when you master it. Right? So I advise you, if you can afford it, print out this. I printed out the Boron letters, right? I had my own copy. I was always writing things down, underlining things, highlighting things, right? That was the only one I printed, but I read the other ones because at the time I was reading more on my phone. I didn't have the money, I didn't have a lot of money to go and print out everything when I started. So I gathered the small money that I had that my sister gave me, and I printed out the brown letters, right? And I had my own copy, and I was happy that I had the brown letters, physical copy. You know how happy I was? I was happy that I had my hero's book in my hands. So that meant a lot to me, right? And it hits differently when you're reading a physical copy of this thing, right? So I encourage you, if you can afford it, go to a business center, print out these books, physical copies, right? Now, the next thing, what do you do after reading these books? Okay, Andy, fine. I've read the Brown Letters 3 times. I've read the Robert Collier Letter book 3 times. And the other 3 books, I've read them 3 times. You said I should take notes. I've taken notes. So what do I do now? I was on my own minding my business. You said, come to this meeting. I'll tell you what copywriting is about and how you can master it. I've done what you said I should do. What's the next step? Okay. The next step is not hard, but it's also not easy. And I'm going to try to make it simple. The next thing is, now, when you've gone through these books again and again, like 3 times, you've taken notes, you begin to see patterns. You begin to see that almost all of these authors are trying to teach you the same thing, but in different ways. But the principles are the same. Right? The principle, now you begin to see that, oh, okay, so I need, for example, right? Okay, so before I even think about selling anything to anybody, I need to be sure that they want this thing first. I need to do market research. I need to start with the market so that I'm sure that, okay, people even want this thing I want to sell. Oh, okay, so if I want to sell something to somebody, I need to go straight to the point. I need to tell them how it's going to benefit them. I need to start by even getting their attention first, right? And then saying something that will make them interested. And then after that point, I'll give them, like, so saying something that will get them interested means giving them interesting facts. Not boring facts, interesting facts. Oh, okay, so after giving them interesting facts, I'll now say something that will make them desire this product even more. And maybe that thing I need to say is, okay, this is how you feel after using this product. This is what this product will do for you. It will bring you peace of mind. It will help you experience less pain. It will help you experience more pleasure. Okay, now they're desiring the product. And now they're asking the question, what do I do? Oh, okay, so at this point, I'll now tell them how they can buy the product. I'll tell them how much it costs and how it will be delivered to them. You begin to see these principles. The more you read these books, the more you see them. Never mind the olden day language, right? These books are valuable and they teach practical copywriting wisdom. And you will not find any book anywhere, right, better than these books. In my opinion, if you're just getting started, there are other books I believe you should read, but these 5 books are perfect for anybody who is trying to get started because they are easy to understand. There are other books like Confessions of an Advertising Man by David Ogilvy. Brilliant, brilliant. I love Ogilvy. In fact, let me check if the copy is here. There's a book. I can't find my copy. Maybe a friend of mine has collected it, but okay. So this is it. This is my copy, right? It's like it's paperback. This is it. So brilliant book, right? I encourage you to read it later on. When you started getting clients, you can now read it. Why? Because I believe that anybody getting started can read these 5 books, right? And get it. And then now move to the next stage of, okay, what do I do after reading the books? And then there's Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Amazing book. But it sells for, I think, $900 or so. And sometimes when you're just getting started, you may not like have that amount of money lying around to buy a book. But the book is amazing. And it's a book I believe anybody in copywriting and marketing, or even anybody who owns a business should read, but not now when you're getting started. That book is not as easy to understand as these other 5 books. Breakthrough Advertising is advanced stuff. And later on, when you've like progressed in copywriting, you begin to see why. And when you eventually lay your hands on it, after you've tasted blood, right? Maybe you've made your first $1,000, your first $100,000. You now, okay, fine. Okay, Andy said later on you can read it. Okay, let me start reading it. And when you start reading it, you will see that, okay, this book is actually advanced. And at that point, when you've already started getting results, you begin to understand, you are now on that level to understand what Eugene Schwartz is talking about, right? So that's it about those books. Now, after reading these 5 books I've listed, the next thing is, now you're seeing like common patterns, the principles, right? Now, the next thing you need to do is start paying attention to everything that's happening around you. It's the principle of being observant. You are not just somebody who is trying to learn copywriting. You are not just somebody who is trying to learn how to sell. You're somebody who is trying to learn how to understand human beings and what makes them take action. And that sort of thing requires that you be very observant, that you pay a lot of attention, that you listen to what's happening around you. If you don't do that, everything that you've learned from these books are going to be irrelevant. And here's why. It's only when you start paying attention, when you start being observant, that you now begin to say, oh, so that's what Gary Halbert meant when he said that don't pay attention to people who say something that, oh, this is what I want. No, if you want to know what people buy or what they'll spend their money on, pay attention to what they are doing with their time and their money. So when you see that your nephew, or when you see that your neighbor, who is always saying, I'll never spend 1 minute of my time going to a viewing center to watch a football match. I'll never do it. I don't want something like that. But then the Champions League final arrives. And maybe there's a power cut in your neighborhood, and that every football fan who loves to watch football does not want to miss the Champions League final. So because there's a power cut, he'll go out to a viewing center. He will go out to a viewing center because he loves football and he wants to watch that final. So maybe during the day you ask him, do you want to watch? No, I don't. I want to rest. And then when there's a power cut, he goes out because that is what he wants. And he's paying money to enter that viewing center. So he's spending his time and money proving to himself and to anybody observing him that I will pay money to watch football. So when you see something like that playing out, you're like, okay. So whenever people say they want something, I should just take it by a pinch of salt. But when I see them spending money on something, I know that, this is where their interest is. So I can sell them something similar. So that example I gave you, that guy going out to the viewing center to watch football, if I want to sell a football magazine, that guy is going to be number 1 on my list. Do you understand? Right? So you need to pay attention, not just offline, but online. And that brings me to the next thing. Number 1, there's something called a swipe file. So don't let that word scare you, right? As you're paying attention offline and online, there's something you need to be doing. When you're online, you're paying attention to what content is getting a lot of engagement. If a content is getting a lot of engagement, that's because a lot of people are interested in the topic that that content is talking about or that that content is discussing. So if you see a content or a tweet or a post on Instagram or a video that is getting a lot of engagement, stop. Especially when the content is drawing your attention. If it is something that doesn't draw your attention, no problem, just chill, leave it. At least for now, right? But if it holds your attention, stop, read it, save it, screenshot it, bookmark it. If something holds your attention, it means that that thing interested you. It got your attention. And the reason it got your attention is because there was brilliant copywriting behind it. You need to study these things that you save, screenshot, bookmark. If it makes you laugh, screenshot it, save it. If it makes you curious, stop, read it, screenshot it, save it, bookmark it. Even if it makes you angry, stop, bookmark it, save it, go over it later. Anything that triggers your emotion is brilliant copywriting, whether that emotion is positive or negative. Because the person who wrote that thing, whether they know it or not, they've triggered you. They've gotten through your skin. And that's the whole point of copywriting. Emotional impact. We're emotional creatures, right? And everything that we do is driven by emotions. So copywriting basically is a game of triggering emotions so that people can be interested in what you're selling them. Of course, something that they want. But even if people want something, they won't buy it simply because you're coming to say, hey, I've got this product, come buy it. No. You need to make them interested in buying from you. So step one, after reading those books, is keep a swipe file. How do you keep a swipe file? It's simple. Start by bookmarking stuff that interests you, stuff that gets your attention online. It could be a Twitter thread. It could be a tweet, a single tweet. It could be an article. It could be a YouTube video. Take all these links, create a Google form, a Google Doc, rather. This is like the simplest way. There are other ways, but this is like the simplest way. Create a Google Doc and name it swipe file. How do you create a Google Doc? Simple. Let me open. So just open a new tab, right? For those of you who may not know how to do it. So this is it. Just go to docs.google.com, right? Docs.google.com. Look at this blank. Look at it. It has plus, right? You click on it. It says untitled. So it doesn't have a title yet. So you come here, you can say something like my swipe file. Right? Now, when you see something online, it's very simple now. So you take the link on that thing, you come here and you paste it. Right? This is a template. This is a pitching template I'm going to show you guys later for getting clients. But I copied it and put it in a document so that it will be easy for me to show you. But you just copy it, come here and paste it. Right? Let me show you something too. So let's say this Gary Halbert's page, right? I consider it my swipe file, like something I want in my swipe file, right? So I'll copy this link now. I'll come under my swipe file. I'll paste it, right? Now, I need to make it a hyperlink. So what do I mean? You highlight it, you come here, it says insert link, right? That's the link now. So to edit it, okay. Look at, it says text, right? I'll highlight it, I'll say the Gary Halbert you see that it has changed? So you embolden it. So that's it. So whenever you come here, you just click and it takes you straight there. So this is like a small example, but mostly what you're going to be putting here is like things you find online, right? It could even be an advert, a sponsored post. You come and you put it here. Why are we doing this? So that you have everything in one place. So that, for example, you don't have to go to your Twitter bookmarks to start checking because it's going to be a lot of stuff. But if you have it here, it's going to be easy. You can track easily. So when you want to find something, you just come here and you look through it and you find what you're looking for, right? So that's what a swipe file is. And you also need to be looking out for ads too. When you're on YouTube watching a video, sometimes an ad will just come up. If the ad gets your attention, please watch it. Click through. Go, even if you don't want to buy, click through. Go there to the page, to the landing page, copy the link. After watching it, come and paste it in your swipe file. If the ad got your attention, it means it is a good ad and you need to study it. Right? Okay. So the next thing is, this is where a lot of people get angry. Hand copy great sales letters. Hand copy great sales letters. Why are you doing this? There's something called neurological imprinting. Let me type it. Let me type it here. Neurological imprinting. That is when you are imprinting something in your subconscious mind. You know that neurology has to do with the brain, right? Now, when you're imprinting something on like in the deepest part of your brain, which is your subconscious mind, you are making that thing part and parcel of you. And when it comes to copywriting, the way you do it, right, is you take great sales letters that were written by legends, the likes of Gary Halbert, Gary Wenger, Eugene Schwartz, David Ogilvy, Robert Collier, Claude Hopkins. Take those sales letters, right? Now, not just anyone that was written by them. Take the ones that intrigue you. The ones that really get your attention, like, ah, man, I have to read this. And how do you find these letters? It's simple. You see, I said here, swiped.co, right? SWIPED.C0, right? .co, sorry. So I'll come here, swipe, see it, open it. Now, how do you find the best sales letters to study that are worth studying? It's simple. Look at this page. It says controlled, right? And it says tested. Click on control. Why control? Control sales letters are the best sales letters. Why? So what most businesses in direct response do is when you have a marketing campaign that is doing well, it is because of the package, like what was written, the marketing message. Now, when a business owner in direct response finds something that is working, what they do, right, is they will go out there and say, hey, copywriters, okay, so we have this sales message that is doing really well. If you can beat it, right, we're going to pay you so and so amount. Now, we'll pay you your standard fee, but if you can beat it, if what you write brings in better results than this one that's already performing well, we'll give you maybe 20% or 5% from the proceeds in sales. That 5% is something called royalties or commissions, right? Now, when those copywriters try to beat this one that's already performing well and they don't succeed, like, okay, you write your own and maybe this one that's already doing well brought in, let's say, 20 million in the first 3 months, and your own brings in 19 million. That one that is bringing in, that brought in 20 million, which is the first one, remains the sales message that they'll be using. And that sales message is called a control. Why? Because somebody has tried to beat it and they did not succeed. And until somebody writes something that brings in better results than that one, that sales letter remains the control. That's why you hear that if you can write one control as a copywriter, like you've made a name for yourself. And if you can beat a control, you've also made a name for yourself. And you're going to have a solid reputation. But don't let that make you scared or anything. No, like the most important thing is to start by understanding the basics. And once you understand the basics, you now start practicing. Go to these legends who have written great stuff. Take their sales letters, right? And these sales letters are control sales letters. Start with control sales letters. Now you come here and you can pick like maybe 5-10 sales letters, right? Study maybe one a day. When you study a sales letter, what you should do is write it out by hand. But don't just copy it blindly. Look at it. Choice of words. Why did this person start like this? Why did they start like that? Why did they use this word in the headline? Why did they use this choice of words in the beginning of the sales message? Why did they end like this? Why are they telling this story? And why are they starting the story like this? as you're studying these things, you ask these questions. You will see patterns. Imagine. You pay attention to these patterns, because these patterns, as you're rewriting this thing by hand on a piece of paper or on a notepad, it's going to be getting into your subconscious. That process is called neurological imprinting, and you are doing it with your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so whenever I'm hand copying stuff, I'm doing it with my dominant hand, my right hand, and that thing transmits the process into your subconscious mind faster than if you are typing it. Right? Now, to make it easier for you, when you come to control, so you see all those copywriters I mentioned, right? You can come here, for example, and type Gary Halbert. That's under control, right? So Gary Halbert has 2 controls. So you can start with Gary Halbert's controls, right? You come here, you say, okay, he has 2 controls. You study them, you hand copy them. Maybe I encourage you to study each letter at least 5 times and hand copy each one at least 3 times. When you're done with one copywriter, you go to the next one. Let's say David Ogilvy. I don't know if he has a control, but let's see. Okay, he doesn't have a control here. They didn't put any of his controls, but we have Eugene Schwartz. Let's see if he has a control. He doesn't have. Okay, fine. In that case, what we'll do is we unclick this, right? And we just put in the name of the copywriter. And you see, all of these are classics. The reason they are now classics is because initially they were controls, but other copywriters now beat these controls. So you cannot, like, it's no longer a control. So you have these like classics here, right? But either way, these are still very good sales letters. So you can come here and pick any one that grabs your attention, study it again at least 5 times, and copy it by hand. It is not an easy process. Sometimes you won't be fed up, like, why am I doing this? But you're doing this so that you can internalize this thing, so that it becomes part of you. So that whenever you want to write a sales message for yourself or for a client, you know what structure it should follow, because all great sales messages have the same structure. Now, the copywriters may start them differently. They may change a couple of things, but it is the same structure. Right? Okay. Now, after hand copying great sales letters, now this hand copying great sales letters can take, I encourage you to take at least 1 month doing this. Again, it seems like this thing, why am I spending 1 month now? I want to go out and get clients. But the most important thing is to be good at this thing. Trust me, when you're good at this thing, the money will come easily. If you simply rush and say, oh, I want to go and get clients, when you get the clients, what are you even going to do if you've not been practicing? How are you going to take on that project? It's at that point you now start rushing and looking for somebody to review your work. There's nothing wrong in having people review your work when you need a second eye. But if you're reaching out to people to review your work because you're not sure what you're doing, then that's a problem. That's a serious problem. And it should not happen to you, because you need to take a lot of time and study this thing. You took 4 or 5 years to go through school to get a certificate. So why is 1 month too long to do what you need to do, so that at least you understand this thing on the basic level well enough to know what to write and how to write it to get results? Right? Okay. Now, the next stage is when you've done, now I encourage you to pick at least 3 copywriters and take at least 2 sales letters from each copywriter you're picking. So that's 6 sales letters, right? Take at least 6 of these letters, Study them. When you're done with that part, right, you will now begin to see that, oh, this is how I can apply this thing that I have learned from those books. Right? Now, the next thing you want to do is start practicing by creating your own samples. How do you create your own samples? This is very easy, right? So go to any e-commerce site like Amazon, right? Amazon is like the biggest. So Amazon.com. What's going on? Okay. So you see there are a lot of things here, right? So what you do is you come to this Amazon homepage, right? Look at all of these books. Look at all of these clothes that they're selling. Open any one, right? So which one do you open now? Explore home bedding. So you see that different e-commerce stores have their products here, right? So look at this one, for example. It has a lot of good reviews. So you open it. It means that the product is doing well, right? Look at. So you come here and you look at how they have written their page, their product description. And you look at it and say, okay, nice, nice. Now, how do I make this thing better? That's how you practice. You just try to rewrite it. You can do this for, let's say, 5 different markets. So this is like the beddings market. There's the gadget market. There's the market for books. There's the market for cosmetics, right? That cosmetics market is like a very big market. And you're going to get, like, when you start getting clients, you find that a lot of business owners in that space are always looking for copywriters. So it helps also look at the beauty niche. Let me go back, and that's cosmetics. Let me search for cosmetics. It's opening. Let me see. Okay, preferably, it's still loading, but preferably just come. Okay, it's open now. But another option, right, is this home and kitchen. See, beauty and personal care. You see that there are different markets here. If you open this, there are different markets, right? Arts and crafts, automotive, baby, that's children, right? Newborn babies. Beauty and personal care. So you come to beauty and personal care. You can pick any one, right? But there are some markets that have more demand than the others, right? For example, beauty and personal care. Where's the other one? Girls fashion, right? Girls fashion, where is it? Girls fashion. There's books, right? People buy a lot of books. There's home and kitchen. There's health and household. Health especially is also a very big market. So you can pick like 5 of these markets. Pick one product each from each market. Look at how they've written their product description and try to rewrite them in your own words. Remember, the point is to make it better. Don't use hype. Don't try to exaggerate anything. Just go straight to the point. Try to improve it. Right? And you can create as like up to 5 samples from each of these products. That's you practicing by creating your own samples. Right? Now, the next thing is, okay, fine. How do I start making money? I've done all of these things. I've spent like the last 2 months or maybe the last 3 months doing this. Now, how do I start making money? There are different ways to make money online with copywriting, because that's the skill we're focusing on. There are different ways. I'll point them out. But first, there's something I need you to understand. Whether you're a copywriter, or you're a business owner, or you're just somebody who wants to make money online by selling something that people want, there is something you need to understand. That thing you need to understand is called the 5 principles of influence and persuasion. There's 5 principles. And it's something I learned from Blair Warren in the 1-sentence persuasion course that I took some time ago. These 5 principles, when you understand them and you combine them with everything you've learned from the books and everything I've recommended you do so far, you're going to be unstoppable. Assuming, of course, that you have this great spirit of taking action and moving forward, no matter what happens, even when the odds are stacked against you, you're going to be unstoppable. These 5 principles can be summed up in 1 sentence, right? People will do anything for you if, 1, this number 1 is the first principle, if you give them hope. Like, oh, finally, I can do this thing. This thing is possible for me. If you give people hope, they will do almost anything, if not anything you ask them to do. Number 2 is when you throw stones at a common enemy, right? So let's say you read one of my emails and you're pissed off, right? And somebody comes online and talks about that email, and the person is like, I don't like what, Andy, I don't like this. You can't be talking to me like this in your emails. What's the meaning of that? And you see that tweet, you're going to like it. Because that person is casting stones at a common enemy. I may not be your enemy, but in that time frame, after reading my email, and you're pissed off, and that person is pissed off, and the person is ranting, the person is angry, in that moment, both of you share a common enemy, and you will like that comment or that tweet. And if that person is saying, go read this, go watch this video to see what I'm going to do to Andy Mukolo because of this email he wrote, you're going to go do it. You're doing what that person is asking you to do because you guys have a common enemy. In that period, that time frame, that you're seeing that content, right? The third thing is when you allay people's fears. What does that mean? When you calm people's nerves. Oh, I'm scared. There's a snake in this house. Okay, fine. I know there's a snake, right? But don't worry. Just wait for me outside. I'm going to go inside and kill it. They are doing what you're telling them to do by going outside. And because you've calmed their nerves by telling them that, don't worry, I'm going to kill the snake. That's allaying people's fears. And part of allaying people's fears is confirming that the fear is there in the first place. Right? A real life example is somebody who is scared that they will die of diabetes. They are thinking of how their legs will be, maybe one of their legs or both legs will be amputated, and how they're going to die a painful death. And you come and you say, I know you're scared. I know you're scared that your legs will get amputated. I know you're scared that you're going to die. I know you're scared that you're going to go through a lot of pain. But don't worry, right? There's something we can do about this. And here's how this works. You have their attention because you are not just confirming their fears, but you're also calming their nerves. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is when you confirm people's suspicions. So let me give you a real life example. Let's say a couple, right? A man and a woman have been in a relationship for like 2 years. They're married, they have 1 child, and the wife is suspecting that the man is cheating. If you give that woman a phone call and tell her that, madam, I just saw your husband leave this hotel now. Please don't tell him I said this, but this is like the 5th time I'm seeing him here in the last 5 weeks. I thought I should tell you, I'm one of your friends, but I'm using a private number because I don't even want you to know that it is me. But please be careful and do everything you can to make sure that you understand why this man is doing this thing before you take any actions. She's going to try to call you back. And if you tell her, madam, okay, now I want you to go downstairs. There's a postman waiting for you. He's going to give you a letter. That letter has instructions on what you should do going forward. She's going to run downstairs. She's going to take that letter. She's going to do everything in that letter because you're confirming a suspicion. Right? There's the fifth one. Maybe I'll tell you before we finish, but you need to understand these 5 things. I've mentioned just 4, right? There's one more to go, and I'll try to give it to you before I finish, right? But understand these principles. Understand these principles, and you become better at selling to people. So whenever you're writing anything, make sure whenever you're selling anything, you will always see that you need to either confirm people's suspicions or give them hope, or cast stones at the common enemy, or allay their fears. And there's the 5th one. Okay, let me just tell you. Validate an existing belief. Validate an existing belief. What does that mean? It means that if I want to sell something to Christians, right? And I start by saying, a fool says in his heart, there's no God. They are going to give me their attention. Because every person who believes in God that is a Christian, right, holds that verse dear to their heart. So if you start your sales message by saying, a fool says in his heart, there's no God, you're validating an existing belief, and you are now like their pal, their body. Now they want to listen to what you have to say, and they'll probably take action when you tell them what you want them to do. Now, there's one more thing I need to point out. That casting stones at a common enemy also has a secondary layer, and that is finding common ground. Whenever you want to sell something, find an element of interest that you share, or at least that you seem to share with the person you're trying to sell to. If you meet me for the first time, right, and I see you holding Confessions of an Advertising Man by David Ogilvy, I'm going to want to approach you and like, hey, like you're reading this book, I love it, I've read it, I hope you're finding it interesting. You say, yeah, this guy is like a genius. Common ground. Or, well, like if you've been to school, right, think about that one time that you and maybe a classmate of yours were like pissed off at the lecturer, and you were probably planning something evil. If I have the opportunity to slap this man, I'm going to slap him. And that your friend will say, yes, I'm going to even give him like maybe 6 slaps at the same time. Common ground. You guys hate the same person. So whenever you're selling something, you have to find common ground, right? So these are the 5 principles. Internalize them. Always keep them front and center of your mind when you're selling anything. That's like the easiest way to get people to pay attention to what you're saying and then eventually take action, right? Now, how do you start making money with copywriting? Now, there's 4 different ways. There are more than 4 ways, but there are 4 different ways that are major, that are beginner friendly, right? That don't require any money. And even if you have to spend any money, it's not like it's like very insignificant amount of money, right? So how copywriters make their millions? 4 different ways. The first one is get paid to recommend high value products. Why am I starting with this one? Why am I not saying start by getting clients? You can start by getting clients. And in fact, a lot of my students who are here in this class started by getting clients. Some of them made their first $5,000. online just by working with a client, right? But the reason I say get paid to recommend high value products is that you can start earning right away in like a short amount of time versus when you are working with clients. You can be getting clients and still be doing this, but if you don't know where to start from here. Get paid to recommend high value products. Let me give you an example, right? So let's say, let me use something that is very common in Nigeria. So the Igbos, right, are known to be like very resourceful and very entrepreneurial, right? When it comes to doing business or anything. Now, there are several big markets in Nigeria and you find Igbos there. Some of these guys don't have shops in these markets. They don't have shops, but you will see them standing out in the market, maybe at the gate or the entrance or in front of shops. Say, hey, what do you want to buy, right? What do you want to buy? Want to buy iPhone? iPhone what? Come, we have it. Oh yeah. He will now take you to a shop that seems like his shop. It is not his shop, oh. He's taking you to somebody's shop, the actual owner of the shop. Now, he has, before bringing you to that shop, he has struck a deal with that shop owner. Like, Oga, okay, I know you have all these phones that you want to sell, but you need people now to buy these phones from you, right? So here's what we're going to do. This phone sells for 800,000, right? I'm going to bring people that will buy this phone. But when I bring somebody here, we're going to tell the person that the phone costs 1 million. Now, the person will buy that phone, and from that 1 million, you give me 200,000. Or we can tell the person the actual price that you're selling it with your own profit margin. And from that money, you give me maybe 10% because I have brought a buyer to you. You see that thing that guy is doing? Several people, hundreds and hundreds of people have, not just Igbos, even the Yorubas, the Hausas, but the Igbos do it the most, right? They've used it to build generational wealth. That thing can bring in as much as sometimes $1,000 a day because they are recommending high value products. They are going out there and they are bringing people to buy this thing and they are getting commissions. This thing is called affiliate marketing. And that process of this guy going out there to bring people to the shop is called generating traffic. So it's similar to when you tell people online, when you go out and you post something and say, go here, link. You put a link and they click it and they go watch a video. And at the end of that video, there's a pitch and they buy something and you get a commission because they use your affiliate link. It's the same thing. So this is called affiliate marketing. And the reason it's so easy to start is you don't need to create a product. You don't need to send a sales pitch. You don't need to send a sales pitch like a cold email to a prospective client. You don't need, like, there's not a lot of work involved compared to the other things you can do. There's work involved. You need to take it seriously, but it is not as much work as the other things. And you can start earning like very quickly. The time frame for you to start earning is not as much as the other ones. Like all things being equal, right? So it's called affiliate marketing. How do you get started? There are two platforms I know. There's ClickBank, which is like the most popular affiliate marketing platform. ClickBank, you go there, you register as an affiliate, you try to watch maybe a couple of YouTube videos on how the platform works, and then you get started. Then in Nigeria, right, if you're watching this from Nigeria, there's expertnia.com, right? Let me show you the spelling. That's expertnia.com, right? It's the biggest affiliate marketing platform in the country, one of the biggest in Africa, right? And they've paid so far, they've paid out over 100 million in affiliate commissions. Like, the stuff really works. And they've simplified it. It's like the brain behind Expania is Tony Omotosho, like one of the most brilliant copywriters and direct response marketers in the country and on the continent that I know, right? So you can go there and you can try to follow him on Twitter, like Tony Omotosho. Let me, where is this? So if you don't, in case you don't know him, that's Tony Omotosho. Try to follow him on Twitter. He puts out a lot of valuable content, right? Try to follow him on Twitter. Look at what he says. When you can take action, take action. When you can't take action, just learn from what he's saying on his timeline. He puts out a lot of valuable stuff, right? So that's affiliate marketing. It's one way, and you can get started right away. It could cost you like, so Expania, I think it sells for like 10,000 naira a year for access, right? And then if you want to learn like the actual affiliate marketing, like you want to learn it, then you have to pay, just find somebody who's very good at it. I don't think there's anybody better at it than Tony Omotosho in Nigeria, right? Just learn from him, right? If you have to pay. I think he has a program that sells for, I think 45,000 naira currently. He's very brilliant at it, right? If you implement what he teaches you, you're going to make money. Not overnight, but you're going to make money, right? Now, the next thing, and by the way, for this affiliate marketing thing, in case you're thinking you don't like that, you don't know where to start, or that you may not succeed at it, there's this guy, there are several of them, but there's this guy in particular I want to use as an example. His name is Oladotin, right? He started sometime in February 2020, I guess, or February 2019. And in 8 months, he had done like over 8 million. Now, of course, that 8 million did not come overnight. It took him a lot of hard work. It took him a lot of consistency. He was very persistent. And when he started, like that was his first trial, like the first time he was trying to make money online. And I said, okay, since they are saying affiliate marketing is like the easiest way to start or the simplest, let me start from here. And he started, of course, in his first month, he didn't make a lot of money. Second month, but he continued working hard. I think he signed up for Tony Omotosho's training program for affiliate marketing. He joined the group, followed the steps, and he worked very hard. And now he's making a lot of money for himself, right? And he's even decided that, okay, I don't even want to take on clients because this affiliate marketing thing is bringing in a lot of money for me. So if somebody like that can get started, somebody with no experience whatsoever can start listening to what his teachers are telling him, take action, come back with questions, give feedback, and still get results, then you can do it, right? You can do it. So the next thing is clients, right? Now, how do you get clients? There are different ways you can get clients, but I'm going to give you the simplest. By no means easy, but the simplest, right? Now, when you want to get clients, I need you to understand something. What you're selling is not writing. What you're selling is not writing. What you're selling is a solution. What you're selling is a vehicle to a desired outcome. Business owners are not necessarily looking for people to write for them. They're looking for people to help them get results. And sometimes that person is a copywriter. In fact, most times, actually all of the time, because there's no successful business that doesn't have great copywriting behind it. Look at Nike. Like their biggest reason for success is their great copywriting. That's why they are number one today. So understand that what you don't go to a business owner saying, I want to write for you. You can say it and get results and get them to respond. But why not come from the angle of getting sales, getting more customers, increasing revenue, getting ahead of the competition? Why not come from that angle? Is that not what they think about all day? They're not thinking about the text on their landing page or the copy in their emails. They are thinking about the end result, the desired outcome. And that's the angle you should come from. So you have to understand that first before you start trying to get clients. Now, the next thing is, who are your clients, right? You need to have something called a client avatar. You need to nail down specifically, ultra specific description of who your ideal client is. Now, how do you do this? It's simple. You pick a niche. And there are different niches you can pick, right? But I'm going to give you 5 niches you can start looking at and then decide which one you want to settle on. And how do you pick a niche? It's simple, right? There are 3 different things I like to look at. Number 1, do you have some sort of experience already in that niche? For example, I have students who are doctors, who are also copywriters, and they are using that skill to generate additional income for themselves every month. And they operate in the health niche because of, obviously, they already have some experience in the health market. So it's like an advantage for them. So they start from the health market. Or let's say you're curious about this market. Like, okay, I've heard that when I sell my services in the financial market, like cryptocurrencies, forex trading, buying stocks and all investments, that I'm going to learn a lot about how things work in the financial world. And it's going to be an advantage to me when I know this thing and I'm selling in this market. I'll even get in on investment opportunities because I'm now operating in this market and I can see the opportunities firsthand, practical, before most people will see it. So for that reason, you can say, okay, I'm curious, I'm excited. Let me start selling my services in the financial markets, right? The third one is a combination of both. Maybe I already have some knowledge and maybe I want to learn more about this market. So for that reason, you can now pick maybe, for example, the health market. Okay, I already know some things about the health market, but I want to know more. This alternative health market, how does it work? How do these products work? Are they really as useful and as helpful and as beneficial as people say it is, or as they are? If yes, then I want to know more. That curiosity can drive you into selling your services in that niche, right? So once you have a niche, the next thing is you need to start understanding how products are sold in that niche. But even before you start doing that, you need to understand the problems in that niche. For example, health has like some major problems. For example, high blood pressure, diabetes. What's the other one? There's the sickle cell market inside the health market. There's like sickle cell is a major problem, right? And you have inside the health market, you have a sub-market, men's health. That's the market that deals with maybe weight loss for men, better sex for men. What else? What is that example? And any other thing that has to do with health for men, right? So you can start studying these markets. Look for magazines online. Look for websites. Look for blogs. Look for pages on social media that are centered around discussing topics in this market. You need to become a student of your market. Once you pick one niche, you need to know what's going on in your market. What are the problems? What are the biggest problems in this market? And what are the solutions currently existing for these problems? How are these solutions being promoted? How are these solutions being advertised? How are they being marketed? You need to start understanding these things before you approach a client. So that when you're having that conversation with a client, you're talking like an expert. Because basically, what you are to a client is you are like a doctor. You are like a psychologist, a shrink. Your client is complaining, oh, I have this problem, I'm not making sales, I have this product, nobody's buying. They are complaining, and you're just listening to them. And because you've done your homework on the market, you know what's happening in the market, you know what makes people buy, you know what the objections are, why people don't buy certain products, you know what their hopes are, you know what their fears are, you know what their suspicions are. When a client is talking to you, you're like, okay, Oh, all right. And when they are done, because of course, most clients, they want to tell you all their problems. And when they are done, you can now start explaining to them, okay, this is why your last advertising campaign did not bring in any results. And this is what we're going to do about it. Clients will respect you more and be willing to pay you more when you're talking like an expert. And that's why you need to become a student, an ardent student of your market. Very important. Very important. And you do this by studying. Go to YouTube, look for health channels. If it is the diabetes market you want to specialize in, go to YouTube, look for products, videos on diabetes. Go to Amazon, look for products on diabetes. See how they are selling these products. Look at the reviews, the comments. What are people saying about this product? What are people complaining about? What are they saying that they don't like about this product? What are they asking for? How much are these products even selling for? How are these products being packaged? Are they being sold in singular units, or are they being sold in bundles or in packages? Or are they doing monthly plans? How are they selling? You need to understand these things. When you're done, this could take a couple of days or weeks. That's after you've picked a niche. If you already have a niche you're operating in and you're already getting clients in that niche, fine. Now you know that all you have to do is you need to continue digging, continue learning. You need to know what's happening in your market at every given turn, so that you're not taken by surprise when you get a project, right? Now, who are your, like, what type of clients are you going to be working with? Here's a couple. So you have e-commerce business owners, right? These are people who sell physical products online, like Amazon. Amazon is an e-commerce. So Amazon is an e-commerce site, and Jeff Bezos is like an e-commerce business owner. He owns an e-commerce site that sells, because Amazon have their own, they have their own shop on their Amazon website, right? And they sell their own thing. So Jeff Bezos is like an e-commerce business owner. So in the direct response market space, he's like your typical client. So anybody who owns an e-commerce business who is selling a physical product online is your ideal client, right? And then you have publishing companies. So that's like a market where information is being sold. You sell information in publishing, right? So for example, I am a partner, own like a small publishing company where we sell information, right? I have partners too that we sell information together and we split the commissions. So that's like, so I could be your ideal client, right? Because I sell information online, and to sell that information, I need good copy. Good, so copy is like the ad or the sales message that you use to sell a product, right? So information marketing, that's like the market. Information marketing, people who sell books, people who sell, and then of course, people who sell courses, people who sell coaching programs, right? But the reason I differentiated publishing companies from course creators is that sometimes they are not in the same box, right? So so anybody who has a course, you can write copy for them and get paid. Same as people who have coaching programs, same as consultants. And then you have business to business companies, right? Business to business companies are like companies who sell products that other companies use. For example, softwares, right? A company can have like Aweber, for example. Aweber is a software, like an email software company that provides email marketing software to other companies, right? So companies like this need a lot of content to promote their products. There are big ones, there are small ones, there are medium ones. So you now like look for these companies online, look for I'm going to come to that very shortly, right? But the first thing is you need to know that these are the kind of clients, the kind of businesses you'll be working with. If you want to make money selling your services to clients or to business owners, right? If you want to make money taking on clients. You nail this down first, right? And after that, let's now go back to that thing called a client avatar. So an e-commerce business owner, for example, what's their primary goal? First of all, what's the problem, that product that you want to help them solve? What problem does it solve? You need to write that down. What's the solution being offered? Write that down. What's the business owner's objective? To generate a lot of sales, right? More income, more time, right? To spend doing things they love, maybe with their families or traveling. What are the problems they are likely facing in their business? Not a lot of sales, or they've launched a new campaign and nobody's buying. You need to nail it down. If you can't speak with this person directly, no problem. You don't have to do that. Just go to Google and search for like different keywords, problems e-commerce business owners are facing. That could be your search tag. And that could bring you a lot of articles and a lot of maybe videos where e-commerce business owners are complaining about different challenges they are facing. You're doing it so that you can understand your ideal client. Because most times, what one e-commerce business owner is struggling with is what several others are struggling with, right? Now, the next thing you want to do is, what's your proposition? How are you going to help this person solve that problem that they're dealing with? Maybe their problem is Facebook ads. Maybe their problem is their email marketing is not tight. They're sending out a lot of emails, but they're not getting results. Maybe their problem is their landing page, conversion problems. They're getting a lot of traffic, but their landing page is not converting. That could be the problem, right? But you need to come from, pick one problem and come from that angle. You don't need to talk to this person. Just do some research. Go online, do research, go to online forums, e-commerce forums, information marketing forums, groups online. Go to YouTube, look at these problems. Okay, these are the problems. Fine, this is where I come in. This is how I'm going to provide a solution, right? Now, the next thing is, how do you pitch, right? How do you send out an email or a DM that will get attention and get this person interested in working with you? We'll come to that, right? But first, remember, like I said, what you're selling is not writing. Yes, you can call yourself a copywriter, but the thing that these people want to pay for is a solution, a desired outcome. Writing is like the tool you use to give them that outcome. Sell solutions in form of complete marketing or advertising services. You get more clients that way, right? And how do you present your solution as a complete marketing service or advertising service? It's simple. Instead of saying, I'll write a sales letter for you, or I'll write an email for you, or I'll write a sales funnel for you. So a sales funnel is like, don't let that confuse you. It's like that process, right? From when you see an advert or a blog post or a tweet or something on Instagram, and you click on it, and it takes you to a page, like a website, right? That ad or that blog post or that content on social media is the first thing in the sales funnel. They are trying to move you from stranger to somebody who is interacting with their business. Now, when you go to that landing page, that's page 2 in the sales funnel. So basically, they are moving you from one point to another, from one level of interest to another level of interest to another level until you buy. That's the sales funnel, right? So a complete marketing service, right, is like the advert, right? The landing page, emails, sales messages. So you're handling, it's like they're outsourcing their marketing to you. Okay, I'm not just going to work on the ad for you, right? See what we're going to do. I'm going to create a marketing campaign for you. I'll work on the ad, I'll work on your landing page, I'll create a sales message, and I'll write like 7 emails for you that you can use as follow-up. I'll even create a lead magnet for you, something attractive, something like a bait that you can use to get a lot of people onto your list, so that you can now sell to them on like later with follow-up windows. That's a complete market. And now the next question you want to ask is, but what if I don't know how to run ads? What if the only thing I know how to do well is to write copy? That's where you put on your thinking cap, right? There are people who are good at running ads who are not good at writing copy. There are people who are good at setting up landing pages, right? Setting up a website, like web designers, web developers, but they're not good at writing copy. So you can say, okay, can we work together? I'll bring in clients, right? We'll decide on how much we want to charge for the marketing. I'll bring in clients, you handle this, I'll handle that. The other stuff that both of us can handle, we get somebody who is very good, who can handle it at a fee that we can afford. Now, so let's say normally you want to charge, like, let's say for starters, like you're just getting started, and you want to charge $1,000 to write a landing page, right? So now that you're adding all of these things to your services, your package, the offer, it can no longer be $1,000. You can now raise it to maybe like $2,000. Okay, every month, right? I'll handle your marketing for $2,000. I'll take care of everything. I have a team in-house I work with. We'll do a bloody marvelous job for you, right? And whenever we launch something and we don't get the kind of results we're looking for, we'll go back to the drawing board, we tweak it, and we go at it again, and we'll continue to improve the process for you and get you better and better results. And the business owner says, okay, if I'm having my own team in-house, I'm paying them like $10,000 a month in salaries. But these guys are offering to do it for me for like $2,000. And they're making these promises. Okay, let's give it a try. And they give it a try. And you guys come in and you blow things out of the waters. Because of what you've learned, and because you've picked the right people to join your team at $2,000. So that $2,000, let's say because you're the head of the team, you keep like $1,000 to yourself, right? And let's say you have like 2 other people on your team. You can give them like $500 each, right? Now, because you're the brain behind this thing, you're the person taking the risk. If things don't go well, it's you they will hold by your collar and say, here's my money, right? So because like technically you keep part of the money because you're the leader, you're the one taking all that risk. And if they mess up, if you do your part well and they mess up, it still falls on you, right? So this is what I mean when I say sell complete marketing or advertising services. So let's say somebody wants to launch a product, right? Like a course creator wants to launch a product and they don't have a website, they don't have nothing. You say, okay, fine. We'll set up a website for you. You know that you're not good at the whole website thing, but you have somebody on your team, or you have somebody a freelance web developer that you've spoken to, like, hey guy, so I'm working on this thing, right? Whenever I have a gig, I'll call you, you work on it, and I'll pay you this amount of money. So you now like factor in the person's fee when you're charging a client. And for the ad, maybe you're not good at running ads, but you tell the client, we'll handle your ads for you, Facebook and Google, right? Emails, you may not want to be writing the emails, but you can. If you're in copywriting, you should be able to write emails, right? You handle the emails, and maybe graphic design. Maybe they need a book cover or some sort of design, right, for their product. You get a graphic designer. You can even go on Fiverr and hire a graphic designer for maybe $50 or $10, or right, or even $100. Hire a good graphic designer. Say, okay, this is what I need. I need this thing in 24 hours. Now you're no longer thinking just like a copywriter. You're thinking like a business owner. And you make more money this way versus when you're selling just writing. So the word there is collaboration. You need to collaborate. Find people online who are good at one thing, whether it's graphic. So there are like 4 areas, right? There's web design, there's graphic design, there's ads, and then there's copywriting. And there's one more part that's like videography, right? So that's like VSLs, editing videos and all. You can, so let's make it 5. Find one person, at least one person who is just getting started, but is good at this thing. Somebody who consistently needs clients. And they won't mind, they'll be happy, right? Now, you, the copywriter, you're using your knowledge of salesmanship to go out there and pull in clients, whom you then be selling complete advertising or marketing services to. You see how different it sounds when you say, we'll do your marketing for you versus I'll write for you. It doesn't sound the same. You can, occasionally, you can take on personal writing gigs when the only thing the client needs is copy. So let's say they already have a graphic designer, they already have a web developer, they already have somebody handling their ads, but their marketing campaign is not doing well. So they are bringing you in as a good copywriter to help them change their messaging so that you get better results. In that case, when you ask them, okay, what if we help you handle your ads? And they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll have somebody in-house doing it. Okay, so okay, fine, I'll work on the messaging. And maybe when you work on the messaging, true to it, the ads, everything starts working. That's fine. But if the ads are still not working, you can ask, okay, can like somebody on my team change the targeting for this ad? And the moment they say yes, you say, okay, but it will cost you a little, some extra money. How much? An extra $500. Okay, no problem. I'll send it to your PayPal. I'll send it through Payoneer or through to your domiciliary account or something. See how you're no longer thinking just like a freelance copywriter, right? Now, how do you pitch? How do you pitch clients? There are a number of ways, but before you start pitching clients, there's something called digital footprint. Digital footprint. What I mean is your client should be able to look you up online, go through your stuff, maybe your website if you have one, or your social media page, maybe Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, depending on or LinkedIn, depending on the one you're using the most. Pick one platform and be very active on that platform. Every other platform can wait. But you need to find one platform that you are very active on. And when you're active on a platform, what I mean is you are consistently talking about what you do. You're consistently putting out content that can help your ideal clients. When you go through my timeline on Twitter, for example, what you see is copywriting, marketing, building businesses, and maybe 1% of it is like other things. So you can tell firsthand that, okay, this person may be good at what they do after all, because look at this timeline, right? See how he's talking about this thing that he does, right? First thing, you need to have a digital footprint. If I go on your Twitter timeline, you send me a sales pitch, and I go and you send me that pitch on Twitter, and I go on Twitter and I look for you, and I see your timeline, and your timeline says you're a copywriter, you are a food lover, you are a this, you're a that, you're a da 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 da. I say, okay, fine, okay, there's copywriter list. Okay, let me check. And they check, and they don't see anything remotely relating to what you talked about in your pitch. Anything remotely relating to advertising or marketing or getting results, getting more customers. What do you think will happen? They will not reply your pitch. Because the truth is, sometimes before a client replies your pitch, if they are going to reply, before a client replies your pitch, they will look you up on social media. They will look you up on social media. And imagine them looking you up and not being convinced that you can help them. And the only way they'll be convinced is when they see that you're talking about what you do. So consistently, you should put out content on copywriting, marketing, sales, advertising. Content that proves that, oh, this is what you really do for a living, that this is your thing, right? Now, digital footprint. So a client should be able to find you on one platform and see a footprint of consistency, that you're putting out content, you're consistently talking about this thing that you do. So you're not a one hit run. No. Right? How do you pitch clients? Now, before you pitch clients, you need to know where your clients hang out. Twitter, for example, you have a lot of e-commerce people on Twitter and Instagram. Those two platforms have a lot of e-commerce people. There's Facebook too, but Facebook is losing its audience to Instagram. And Twitter is just Twitter. Most people who like to be on Twitter, it's hard for them to leave because Twitter, in fact, once you have one platform working for you, it's hard to want to spend equal amount of time on another platform. So for e-commerce, for example, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, right? So you can go to the search bar, right? So when it comes to e-commerce, you have certain e-commerce sites like Amazon, right? There's Shopify. So you can go to a place like Twitter, right? Okay, see, you can type Shopify. Look at this guy is like a prospect. Are you aware? See, Shopify. Look at all of these people. So what you do basically is you just scroll down. Look at all of these people. Some of them are even putting results here. See people talking about Shopify, right? These are not all of them, right? But some of them are prospective clients. And you go through their profile, look at what they're saying. If they're consistently talking about selling something, you mark it down like, okay, this person is a prospect. You say, okay, this is one. Now you follow them. Go through the timeline, you follow them. Don't send a pitch right away. Follow them first. Take the time to look out for their content. In fact, you can put them on notification. If you find their content interesting, you can put them on notification. This is Twitter alone. You can do the same thing with Instagram. Right? And that's just Shopify. That's just one keyword. There's e-commerce. You can type e-commerce. And now here's the trick. This Shopify supports, let me show you something. Look at these comments. This guy commenting is probably somebody who owns a business on Shopify. That the only reason he's commenting here about this thing, the only reason he's complaining is because he uses Shopify to sell. So you can visit his profile, read his timeline, go through his content. If he has a website, check it out. Follow him. His DM is probably open. Let's check. Okay, DM is not open. Does he have a website? He does have a website. If you go to this website, you're going to see content. Under contact, you probably see his email, right? If you don't see his email, no problem. Move on to the next person. Now, here's another trick. Look at the people he's following. All of these people are likely prospects too. Not all of them, right? But some of them are prospects. Go through their timeline, visit their profiles, go through their timeline, see what they are doing, right? That's just Shopify alone. No, you see how just one keyword can lead you to as many as 100 prospects, right? Now, Instagram, the same thing. E-commerce, cost creators, e-commerce. I'm listing keywords now. Cost creators, e-commerce, product launch, right? Somebody's launching a product. It means there's some copywriting or some marketing that needs to be done for that thing to sell well. email marketing, emails, autoresponder. Autoresponder is spelled that's autoresponder. So autoresponder is like automated emails that people send out as follow-up messages to get people to buy or to nurture them and then get them to buy later. Right? Autoresponder. These are just a few keywords. You can even type on Instagram, you can use hashtags to find clients. Right? Hashtags like business owners, business advice, business tips, marketing tips. Look at the content that pops up, right? And then go in there and look at the content that people are engaging with the most, the ones with the most comments, right? Go to the comment section. Most people who are commenting in these sections are business owners or vendors or online vendors who have something to sell and who will need your services. Because almost everybody who has an online business, in fact, everybody who has a business wants to do better. And if you want to do better in business, it means you want to improve your marketing. And if you want to improve your marketing, it means you need a bloody good copywriter, or at least a copywriter who knows what they're doing. Right? Okay. So this is how you search for clients, right? There's LinkedIn too. So how LinkedIn works, I'll do this very briefly, is you go online, right? You search for health businesses or health companies or alternative health companies. Or you just type alternative health on LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn. I'm not logged in now on LinkedIn, so I may not be able to. Let me see. Oh, okay. So I've not been here in like ages. So you can come here. See, I just typed health and see what's coming up. CVS Health, company, health, wellness, and fitness, right? See, this is like a very big company. They have like 115,000 plus employees on LinkedIn. See, they have their website. So you can even go to their website and read through to see what they are doing. What's the purpose their business is serving? What problem does their product solve? Do they have more than one product? If yes, what are these products? Who are they selling these products to? Right? So see that it is a health, wellness, and fitness company, right? Now, before I leave this page, I want to show you something. Go to this see all employees is clickable. So when you click it, right, it's going to take you to all their employees. So what you're looking for, the person you want to reach out to is the marketer, like the marketing director or the marketing VP. Because that is like what the service you're offering, basically. So you want to make sure you're talking to the right person who has the ability to make decisions in that regard as per bringing you on board, right, to work with the company for marketing. Right? So let's go back. Now, so this company is like in health, wellness, and fitness. So you copy this, right? Put it here. You see that more companies are coming up because of those keywords. So are you beginning to see that like you can have as many as 500 prospects? You can even have, I'm not good with spreadsheets. I'm not good with that. But you can have a spreadsheet where you have if you're good with using Excel or with Google spreadsheets, you have a spreadsheet where you have all of these company names listed, the contact person or the people you're going to be contacting, you list them out and you start contacting them when it's time to start contacting them. I'll tell you at what point, right? But the first thing is to nail down your prospects, find them first and study each one. You don't need to do all of them at once. You can be doing like maybe 10 a day. You find 10 a day, you study them, say, okay, fine. I'll follow them. I'll understand what they're doing. I'll do market research. And then after that, I'll now try to reach out to one person at this company. Or I'll just reach out to the business owner if it's a one-person business. Right? So you can do this with like for different, so for example, this is health, wellness, and fitness. Let's do tech. See, right? Let's do SaaS. SaaS is like software as a service, right? So let's open it. See copywriters coming up. Okay, so you see that copywriters are even using these keywords to attract clients to themselves. So if I'm a client now looking for a copywriter, I'm seeing his name here. I'll say, okay, let me check out this guy. Because sometimes clients would rather go out and look for these people themselves rather than read through loads and loads of sales pitches. Right? So when you search for when you search for a company like this, like when you search for a keyword like this, like SaaS, and you're not seeing, okay, you come here, look at companies, right? Click on companies. You see all this, look at, right? So you start, look at, some of them even have jobs available, 435 jobs. This one has 1 job, 16 jobs, 9 jobs, right? So you can just go through. It's a process. You may not like it, but you have to do it, right? Okay. And trust me, you will get clients faster when you do things like this. Because you're not just sending out blind sales pitches to anybody. You're narrowing down who you want to talk to. And that way, your pitch can be more specific. And when your pitch is very specific, that person feels like you're talking to them, that you really understand them. And it is easier for them to say, okay, fine, let me hear what you have to say. How can you help us? Right? Now, at what point do you start sending out sales pitches? At the point where you've studied this person that you want to send out a sales pitch to. It could take maybe a couple of hours. It could take a few days. It would take a few weeks. But when you get to that point where you feel like, okay, I understand this person's business. I understand the kind of customer they're trying to sell to. I understand what their product does. I've gone through their website. At least I can explain what they do to a complete stranger in layman language, very simply, so that they can understand it at once. When you get to that point, right, you can now start thinking of how you construct your sales pitch. Whether you send it as an email, if you have that email, or you send it as a DM, if their DM is open, right? If there's no way for you to reach them, no problem. There's something I'll talk to you about on if you live in the same city with these clients you're trying to reach, or in the same country, and you still want to reach them. You're very eager to work with this person. There's a way. But let me talk to you first about how you can construct your sales pitch. So the first thing you need to know when you're sending sales pitches, you need to know this person's name, or at least the company's name. If you know their name, address them by their first name. Hi, Andy, no problem. Now, what do you say in your pitch? Remember that what you say must be interesting, not to you, but to them. Human beings are inherently selfish. They only listen most times when that thing you're saying is interesting to them. When they feel like they're going to gain something, or they're going to learn something, or they're going to get something valuable, that is when they'll pay rapt attention to you. Right? So how do you take what you've learned about this business and talk about it in your pitch? First of all, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your pitch does not look like a pitch. A pitch is most powerful when it does not look like a pitch. How do you write something that is a pitch that doesn't look like a pitch? If you read my emails, please raise your hand. Right? So most times, right? Most times I sell something in my emails, but you don't see the pitch coming. Right? You don't see the pitch coming. And I do this thing where I give you so much value before you see my pitch. So I make you feel like you've learned something from me before I now try to persuade you to try out something I'm selling. And at that point, you can decide, okay, well, I don't need this thing you're selling. I already know enough. Fine. Like, if that's the case, no problem. But sometimes you feel like, but wait, this guy is giving me all of these things for free. Then maybe he has even much more stuff that is valuable, way more valuable than what he's giving me for free in this email. So maybe I should check out his paid stuff. Same thing applies to clients. Imagine you taking something like a campaign, like an ad that you've seen a client promoting, and you see that the ad is not getting a lot of engagement, right? What you can do is you can take that ad and talk about it in your pitch. You can even rewrite it and tell them, okay, feel free to use this, right? Feel free to use this and let me know how well it does. If you need further help, you can reach out to me. That is your pitch. You've taught something in your email, in your DM rather, right? So that's one way to think about pitches. It should not look like a pitch. If you're sending a pitch as an email, it could be something as simple as a date. Today's date is, I think, 30th of April. The subject line of your email could be 30th April 2021, a semicolon memo, or something as simple as 30th April 2021. Finish. It could even be to Andy Mukolo. So Andy Mukolo being the person's name. It could be the person's name. And then inside the email, you're not like teaching something or sharing value. It doesn't have to be a long email, just something brief, to the point. Right? That's one way to write pitches. That's one way. And I'm starting with that because it is like my most favorite way to sell anything. Because when you present something that does not look like a pitch, people's guards are down. That naturally built-in resistance to buying something online is broken down to the barest minimum. And it is now easier for them to accept your pitch and respond. Right? So another thing you can do is use how to increase sales with your Facebook ads. That's an example of how your pitch can look like. And it doesn't even look like a pitch because it sounds like you're trying to teach me something. And if maybe you've studied Facebook ads a bit and you understand it, you can now talk a bit about it. Give real value, don't tease, give actual value. You can keep it as short as possible, but make sure that that thing you're sharing is something that they can take and implement and get results. And then at the end of the email, you're saying, if you need further help, feel free to reach out to me. And then when they reach out to you, take it from there. Right? So let me show you some examples. Let me show you an example of, we're going to come back here, right? But let me show you an example of what your pitch can look like. Okay, share screen. Okay, so look at this. So see what I was saying? This is an example of a pitch, right? Look at this. Subject line, December 12th, right? If it's an email, that's a subject line, or a LinkedIn mail, that could also be a subject line. That's like the date. And the reason this works so well is because, like, this is an unusual technique. Not a lot of people are putting dates in their subject lines. So when you do it, you stand out from the get-go. And that's what you want, to stand out as early as possible. Right? Now, see what I'm doing. This is an example. Like, I didn't send this out to anybody because I've not pitched a client in like almost 2-3 years, right? But this is an example that you can use. If you've taken on even one client, you can now use your experience working with that client, what you did, how you got results. You can now talk about it in your email. And at the end of it, right? If you see what I'm saying, if you need help researching your market so you come up with a better angle to get your customers excited about your offer, feel free to reply and let me know how I can help you. Sincerely, your name, right? So you can put maybe Andy or Nathaniel or Jaya or Jacinta or Rachel or anybody, right? Your name, just put your name there. So the concept behind this kind of pitch is you're using a case study to share a valuable lesson, your own practical experience, right? If you've not taken on a client before, no problem. There's another way to do it. And when they reach out, what do? You can set up a Zoom meeting like this one and share your what is it called? Share your ideas with them. You set up a Zoom meeting, send them the link, tell them, okay, this is the time. If they are in another country, ask them what's your time zone. They tell you, say, okay, fine. We'll set a time that works for both parties. During the meeting, you talk. Feel free, like be relaxed, no pressure, right? Discuss with them, ask them questions, allow them to do the talking most of the time. Ask them questions, sensitive questions like, okay, how's business doing? What are your challenges so far? Where do you need help? Are you running ads? If you're not running ads, why are you not running ads? Have you tried? Just, right? And most times, the answers they give you will lead to other questions that you ask them, like that. And then you now bring it back to what you can do for them. Like, okay, I've heard you, these are the problems, and here's what we can do to help you, right? Here's another example. Are you on Facebook? So that this could be, Andy, are you on Facebook? You can change these different ways, right, to how best you think it will work. Just follow your guts. This is like a template. Are you on Facebook? Hi, Andy, this will be short. I thought to share this with you because I figured you're promoting your business on Facebook. Here's a tip to keep in mind on writing Facebook ads. See, I'm not talking about how to write ads that get results. Your ad will perform better when it looks like the regular Facebook status updates, not an ad. Even though it says sponsored, you've structured it so well, your prospect doesn't even know they are reading an ad until they click your CTA button. Test it and see. Sincerely. PS, how are your ads performing? Do you need help getting more sales this season? If yes, Please let me know how I can help you. Right? So like so look at this other example. Hi, and hi, Dika. So this, please, I need your opinion on this. You can take it out or you can leave it, right? I love to create marketing promotions for your company. And I like, how do I go about this? Looking forward to your response. Or I'd appreciate your thoughts on how to go about it. Like this is a template. You don't have to use it verbatim. Just think of ways to structure it based on everything you've learned about this company, based on everything you've learned about what I've shared with you so far and how to sell to people, right? And see what I said, this may not be the best approach, but it's effective when you want to show a client what you're capable of, right? So like there are other templates I want to show you, but I feel like these three are good. You can use them, try to get, and what I've shared with you so far is like good enough. You can use that. And when you're pitching clients, you use that. And if you have your own ideas, you have a gut feeling that this thing would work, then try it. Most times your guts are always right. So if your gut's telling you to try something, please, by all means, try it, right? There's one more I want to show you. Okay, so look at this one. This is a pitch I sent out to a crowdfunder sometime in 2018, I guess. Let me increase the font a bit. So raising over 55 million to fund projects tackling some of society's most important challenges is a truly remarkable story. You've done a bloody marvelous job with name of company. The other reason I'm reaching out is I read your tweet. So I saw this guy's tweet. Then I wasn't so active on Twitter, but I was just doing research for clients. And I saw this guy's tweet. He said he needed a copywriter, and I reached out to him. So I said, I read your tweet about the need for a freelance operator who can help with result-oriented words and messages. I'd love to help. This would be more like a passion project, and I'd love you to see how I can help you achieve your goal for the X project, right? I look forward to hearing from you, Andy. He responded, and we worked on that project. The client is in the UK, right? I won't mention his name for obvious reasons. So like, this is how you can read this page and you see how you can structure your own sales pitches and DMs to clients so that they don't necessarily look so much like pitches, but just like that, like simple communication channels. You're trying to reach out to them, you've seen what they're doing and you want to help them, you want to work with them, you want to be that person who supports them in their quest to get better results, right? So I think for getting clients, that should be all. That should be all, really. I could teach you an entire 24-hour masterclass on landing clients, but I just want to give you like the really important stuff, and I believe that's what I've done. So another way you can make money with your copywriting skills is sell your own stuff, right? Maybe you're good at cooking, right? I have some students who are really good at cooking, and you want to teach other people how to do it, right? You want to teach other people how to do it. It's simple. Like, you can go online and start doing research for people who want to learn how to cook. Not just any kind of meal, but the kind of meals you're very good at preparing, the kind of recipes you're very good at using to prepare your stuff. People who are looking to master these recipes. You start doing your research. It could be a video training that you want to sell to them. It could be, but first you have to find people who are willing to learn this thing. And how do you do it? You start by using your social media page, whichever platform you're active on, to talk about what you know about this market. You start from there. And you start sharing. It's like how I share valuable content on Twitter. And you see it and you're like, okay, interesting. I like how this guy is talking about this thing. I'll follow him, right? You first put out content as bait to draw people to yourself. This could be for like maybe 1 week out. And the good thing about Twitter is one retweet can blow up your entire timeline, especially when your content is valuable, right? But don't focus on the retweet. Focus on putting out valuable content that people can take, use, and implement right away. For that reason, they'll always come back. And when you see that your content starts getting some engagement, now you can sell your stuff. It could be a webinar, a video training. It could be a course. It could be a coaching program. You know how much you're going to charge. Or you could just get a physical product that is a solution to a problem people are struggling to get rid of. You can now use your copywriting skills to sell your own product, right? To sell your own product. So that's like the third way. And that reminds me, when it comes to getting clients, one of the things you can do to get clients fast is start with affiliate marketing, right? Get some results, right? And use that result in your pitch. And say, hey, look what I did with affiliate marketing in so and so time. Would you like, if you need help getting results for your business, let's talk. Or this is how I got results with affiliate marketing. This is how I generated maybe $1,000 in my first 90 days in affiliate marketing, or in my first 30 days, in my first 60 days. Here's how I did it. You break it down, and at the end, you invite the clients to work with you. Like, I can take everything I've learned and apply it to your business, and you get good results. You're not promising them $100 million. You're just telling them, and you get good results, right? If you need help, reach out to me, and let's talk. Same thing as selling your own stuff. When you sell your own stuff, you get results. You take out, so you want to create an additional income stream. You cannot take that result, talk about it in your pitch. Teach the client something that they don't know or that they've never heard of before. Tell them how you got results, and then invite them to work with you, right? Joint venture partnerships, joint ventures and partnerships. So this is basically you. This is basically you looking for an expert, right? So let's say I know how to trade cryptocurrencies, but I don't know how to sell my knowledge. I don't have a course. You've been noticing me on Twitter, and this guy is so good at crypto, but he doesn't have a course. And a lot of people want to learn this thing. So you can approach somebody like me and say, hey, I see you're very good at this thing, and there's a lot of money we can make together doing something I'm going to talk to you about, right? We can create a program, right? Since a lot of people want to learn from you, I'm going to show you how, I'm going to provide everything you need. We'll create the program. I'll show you how to structure this program so that it is very valuable. Maybe you tell them, okay, this program can be broken into 5 modules. Module 1, the basics, module 2, the secondary stuff, like that, down to the final module and how people can implement and get results. So, okay, I'm going to work with you. We'll create this program. I'll create all the marketing materials. Just create the content. I'll tell you what content to create and how to create it. And then I'll do all of the marketing. In exchange, right, you give me, so for the revenue, the proceeds that come in through this project, I'll take 50%, you take 50%. Or if you want to make the offer even more irresistible, you say, I'll take 30%, you take 70% because you're the owner. Most people would fall for that because it is more appealing and it gives them that sense of, okay, I'm the most powerful person in the room. But you're getting 30%. And if that product is selling for like, let's say $100, and you guys generate like, let's say $50,000, 30% of $50,000, it's like, that's like $15,000. That's good money, right? So that's like the 4th way. There are other ways to make money with copywriting, but these 4 ways are major ways. I've done all of them. I've helped my students do all of them. Some of my students, not all of them, right? And they've gotten like great results from one or all of these ventures. And you can do the same for yourself, right? So in conclusion, the next thing, of course, is that you start implementing ruthlessly. Take everything that you've learned from this meeting, start from somewhere. You don't need to do everything at once. Start from somewhere, start implementing step by step. the way I've explained it. Try. Whenever you feel like, okay, maybe you could do something differently, your guts are telling you to do it differently, by all means, follow your guts, right? Follow your guts. Now, there's one more thing I want to point out, but before I do that, I'm going to open the floor for questions. I may not be taking a lot of questions, but you can send in your questions now, one after the other. I'm going to try my best to answer them. The recordings. Well, if you read my email, what did I say? I told you to leave me alone. Leave me. Don't tell me, please. I told you now that don't ask me if I'll record it or not. You need the recording. You hold me. All right. Questions, please. Questions. Let me take the first 5 questions. What are the best platforms to receive international payments? The best platforms, let me list them, right? There's Payoneer, there's Stripe, Payoneer, right? There's Stripe, there's Flutterwave. If you're in Nigeria, there's Flutterwave. There's PayPal. If you're not in Nigeria, there's PayPal. PayPal has issues. So let me say this upfront. PayPal has issues. So if you're going to use PayPal, try to move your money as fast as possible. As quickly as it's coming in, move it out. Because we have, even as I'm talking to you now, we have an issue with one of our PayPal accounts. There's money there, money we can use to run ads, like a lot of ads. And that money is just there and it's annoying, right? So there's PayPal. If you're going to use it, you need to move your money out as fast as possible, right? Then you can have a domiciliary account. Like I have students who are using their domiciliary account to collect money. So all you need to do is send your domiciliary, the account details, and there's this thing they ask for. There's this number they ask for. Something code, your Swift code, something like the Swift code, yeah, that they ask for it, right? So you can use that, just send them all they need, right? And you can use Paystack too. You just go to, but the thing about Paystack is you need to have a registered business. I don't know if Flutterwave asks for a registered business, but Paystack, you need to have a registered business, right? Okay, so I hope that helps. I have an email list, and when I send them emails, they open but they hardly click the link. What do I do? It's simple. The reason they don't click is because you are not getting them into that headspace where they see that this thing you're offering them is very important. Or the content you're using in your email is not making them feel indebted to you. Like, you shared this thing. Wow, so I need to check out your paid stuff. Those are the 2 reasons that I can see. There are other ones, but these are the 2 reasons I can see. Right? What would you say is your biggest challenge as a copywriter? Consistency. Because you're not going to be making all those thousands of dollars every day. In fact, your first 1 year might suck. It's willpower, consistency, to keep moving forward, even when things are not working as well as you hoped they would work in the beginning when you started. So consistency, that is going to be your biggest challenge. Your ability to show up as often as possible, either on a daily basis or on more days than not. Right? Network Delta 2. How much do you charge when a client asks your fee? This is like a very big question. And I can't really tell you how much you charge. But if you are just getting started, like this is the first time you've not taken on the clients before, keep your fees as moderate as possible. You can charge $100. You can charge $200. You can charge $500. But don't charge so high that you are now beginning to doubt if you can match, if your expertise can match what you've charged. You can start with the important thing is not the money when you're getting started. The important thing is to know what you're doing and to be able to get results so that your clients are blown away and they can rave and rave about your services and refer other people to you. And now you can now increase your prices when word gets wrong that you're good at what you do, or when you've taken a couple of projects under your belt. So you can decide that, okay, for my first 5 projects, I'm going to charge $300 and nothing more. And once I'm done with these 5 projects, I'll raise my fees to $1,000. Right? Okay. The best way to get better at B2B copywriting, study B2B copy. Look for B2B companies. Aweber, which other one? I don't know most of these software companies, but just Google top B2B companies, top 20 B2B companies. Go to their website, look at the copy, the text on those websites, the content. How are these things written? Study them, and then try to internalize the structure. You can even create your own samples, maybe 1 or 2 B2B samples from studying B2B websites, right? Okay. You want to request I give a discount on my F.C.I course? Why are you asking for a discount? What is the best advice you can give your younger self as a copywriter? Man, let me see. Since I didn't give up, what's the best advice? If I had given up, I would have said, okay, don't give up. But the best advice I can give myself, right, if I was just getting started is don't study too many things at the same time. Don't read too many things. That's why I stripped this thing down to like 5 books. And these 5 books are easy to read. And see how I said, start with 1 book first. Read that book 3 times first. So you're not reading too many, don't consume too much information at the same time. You're going to have information overload, right? And believe in yourself. Don't mind what anybody's saying. Don't mind what anybody's doing to make you feel discouraged. Believe in yourself. Copywriting is a wonderful, wonderful money-making skill. And if you continue in this journey, if you continue on this path, you're not going to regret it. And I'm glad I did not stop. I didn't give up when it was very difficult. Right? Okay. I answered that question. How would you decide to choose a niche as a copywriter? I'm sorry I answered that question, but let me summarize it again. It's simple. There are several niches. There's health, there's finance, there's e-commerce, there's information marketing, there's travel, there's beauty, there's men's health. Pick a niche depending on what you're already knowledgeable about. If you already know something about this niche, then that can be your niche. You start from there. Just focus on that one first. And later on, you can expand and branch into other niches. Or let's say you're just curious about this niche. That could be your reason for picking a niche, right? Or let's say there's a lot of demand for copywriters in that niche. That could be your reason. Should one have multiple platforms for creating content? In the beginning, no. Pick one platform first. Yes, I see what you're saying, that you notice I'm becoming active on Instagram. The reason is because I have my Twitter where I want it to be. Right? I can choose not to be active on Twitter for the next 3 months. I'll come back and still tweet something and get a lot of engagement. That's because I have my Twitter where I want it to be. Right? So focus on one platform. I've answered that question. How do you know your niche? I hope I've answered that. Copywriting forums. Yes, there are copywriting forums on Reddit. Reddit. Go to Reddit. 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 Search copywriting Reddit. You see copywriting forums there. Don't feel like an imposter. If you've worked on a project already, you already even have an advantage. Don't feel like an imposter. Just have some confidence in yourself, right? And try to understand what the client is trying to achieve. Listen to what they say, ask them relevant questions, and take all of that information and do the best job you can, humanly possible, on that project. The Flutterwave doesn't ask for a registered business. Yeah. What can we do daily to improve on our copywriting skill? Write something every day. Just write something, even if it is a tweet. Write something, a tweet, an email, write something, right? Just write. You can even practice daily by hand and copy something that you've seen that gets your attention. Yes, you can start an email list with even 10 people. I wrote something for someone recently. He complained it's too long. Does long copy matter? It's not about the length of the copy. It is not about the length. It is about how strong your sales message is. If you have something of 10 pages and it is a solid message that will get your prospect to take action, then use it. If you look at it and you feel like, okay, there are things you can take out that are not necessary, but even after taking out those things, your message is still solid, then you don't need to like leave the message as long as it is. Just cut it and leave it, like make it shorter, because you feel like there are things on that page your reader doesn't need. There are sentences you can cut out. There are long paragraphs you can remove, things that are not relevant to your reader. When it comes to YouTube videos on copywriting, who do you recommend I should listen to? There's Justin Goff, there's Stefan Georgi, there's Todd Brown. Who else? There's Neville Medora, right? Neville Medora. There's AWAI stuff, right? These are like people you can listen to. What are some of the keywords you suggest for finding clients in a financial niche, especially in stocks investments? You can type investments, right? Like just type investment companies, right? Trading companies, crypto companies, right? Crypto companies, trading companies, investment companies, forex companies. These are the keywords. All right. So I think we've covered a lot. I told you to come prepared. Right? That this is going to be intense and practical, and I hope that this was useful to you. I hope that you learned something from this. I hope that you can take what you've learned from here. I hope that you can take what you've learned from here and go out there and get results for yourself, right? My goal was for anybody getting started to be able to watch this and know what to do and how to do it and get at least their first paying client, right? So that will be all. And finally, if you're here and you feel like you want to join, like you want to get into a community of budding copywriters and business owners who are doing great for themselves, who are getting results, and even those who are just getting started. You want to be part of this community, just let me know in the comment section, right? Just let me know and I'll tell you like how you can go about it. So basically, the essence of like being part of this community is just being in the midst of people that you can ask questions, people you can show your sales messages, project, you're working on a project, say, hey guys, okay, I need a second eye on this. You get feedback. You want to sell your own product, right? And you've written a sales message, but you need a second eye. Or you're talking with a client and you're not sure what to say next after they ask you a question. And you just need somebody to ask questions in that moment. You need a community where you can just easily go into and say, hey guys, I need your thoughts on this. What do I do? How do I go about it? Right? Or hey guys, I just got a new client, $5,000. I'm fired up. I'm going to work my ass off. You're inspiring people too. Like that's part of being in a community. That's what being in a community does for you. Right. So if you want to be part of this community, okay, I can see replies. You're interested. Okay. So this community basically already exists, right? It's called, it's a community I created sometime in 2020, that's last year during the lockdown. It's like the Foreign Copywriting Initiative. It's like a copywriting community, basically. Copywriters, freelancers, business owners, like mostly people who sell stuff online who are doing very well for themselves. If you are not already in this community, you can join tonight, right? You can join tonight. And is Samuel here? Is Samuel Shogun here? Okay, so Samuel is going to drop his WhatsApp number, reach out to him. He's going to give you a link, right? That takes you to the page. So there's a letter I wrote inviting you to join this community. I want you to read that message first and decide for yourself if you still want to be part of this community. Decide for yourself if you want to be part. If you see what's on that page and you feel like, I don't, okay, I'm okay with everything I've learned in this video, then that's fine, right? You don't need to join us. But if you feel like, okay, I feel like I could use something like this, right, to spur my growth as a copywriter or as a business owner, then you're welcome to join. It's like, it's less than $100, right? But it's not just the community that you're getting into. You're getting into my resources, right? So that's like my copywriting training for both business owners, freelancers, affiliate marketers. It's like a full stack copywriting training and implementation program, right? So you want to learn copywriting, you want to get better at it, you just get that resource, right? It comes in 7 parts. It teaches you everything, practical information with examples that you can look at and know what to do and how to do it to get results, right? So that's what it is about. Send a message to Samuel Shegun. He's going to drop his number. I think he has done that. Send a message to him on WhatsApp. I would have dropped the link here, right? nairaru.com/2021, right? So send a link. The reason I'm telling Samuel to drop his number is so that when you pay, so this is the link, right? This is the link that takes you to the page. I've dropped it. So if you want to join this community, go to that page, read it. It's less than $100. It's like in Naira, it's like 40,000 Naira, right? But when you see what I'm offering you, you understand that this is like a very low amount of money. There are programs like this that sell for like $2,000. But if I can charge that amount if I want, and people will still buy it. But if I do that, it means I'm denying a lot of people the opportunity to learn from me. And I don't want to do that because I know that when I started, I didn't have 5,000 Naira to pay for anything, right? It was that bad. It was that bad, right? So that's the link. When you pay, reach out to Samuel. I have a surprise gift for you. If you pay tonight or before Monday, if you pay before Monday, I have a surprise. I will not tell you what that thing is. You only find out after you pay. And that thing is going to make you the envy of those who are not part of this community or those who did not join tonight. People who joined before tonight don't have that thing. And I know they're going to come and fight me in my email that why am I giving you this thing? I didn't give it to them. But it is my thing and I choose who I give it to, right? And I'm doing this to encourage you. Yeah, nothing more, nothing less. So that's it. I've put the link there. Let me put it again. So that's the link. Sorry, this is wrong. Sorry, this is wrong. This is like the correct link. Okay, so that's it. You can just copy it, right? Reach out to Samuel. If the meeting ends before you get the link, just reach out. All right. Oh, you can't. Okay. So in that case, you guys reach out to Samuel then. Reach out to Samuel. And if you can't find the link, just send me a message on Twitter. Send me a DM on Twitter. I'll give you the link, right? Andy Mukolo on Twitter. Just search for Andy Mukolo. Or you send a message to Samuel Shegun here. Or just find me on Twitter. I think that's the easiest part, right? It's easier to find me on Twitter. Just find me on Twitter, send me a DM, right? That you want to join the community and I'll send you the link, right? I may not send it to you tonight because I'm tired. I want to go and sleep, right? All right, so people, it was nice talking to all of you. You all are amazing, right? Nice to have you here. I hope that we can do this another time, right? When I have recovered from this assault. Right, okay. So that'll be all for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy your weekend, and I wish you all the best.